Hey everybody, welcome to our JobNimbus 101 workshop today. Today we're going to be putting together a bunch of the cool things we've learned to start solving problems in JobNimbus. My name's Logan.
And I'm Dan. And running a business is difficult, and it is even more difficult when you are losing clients, you're losing money, and you don't know why. So we're going to use JobNimbus to identify some of those places where we're losing clients and money, because the first step in solving a problem is discovering you have one.
All right, let's take a look at our information here in JobNimbus. So the first place we can look for a visual representation of our information is in our boards. We have them in contacts and we have them in jobs. Let's check out our sales board, for instance. This is going to give us some insight into what's going on with our sales process. And we have 12 incoming leads, which isn't unreasonable. We do have 7 people stuck in adjuster meeting. That is something that we might be concerned about. If we dive in just a little bit deeper, we'll get some information that also is useful. The first icon on one of these cards, that clock, tells us how many days we've had something in this status. So you'll notice all of our incoming leads have been there for more than 100 days. At that point, that is no longer an incoming lead. That is a dead lead.
Yeah, it's not good.
Now, this is useful information, and we can go through all of our boards and look at all of that different data and make it notes on a postcard or something. And that's one way that we could look in and find our bottlenecks, things that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, we do not want you to have to deal with that and take the time out of your day to do all of that. So let's actually help you be more efficient and create a report to find that information. So in our reports, we're going to create a job report. And this job report, we want to take a look at the number of days that job has been stuck in a status versus the sales rep that is in charge of that job. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove some of this information. We don't need assigned to, we don't need the primary contact, we don't need the type, but we do want the days in status column, and we want to group this. So we're going to group it first by status, and then we're going to group it by sales rep. That's pretty neat. Now it shows us the status, and it's grouped by sales rep, so it's easy to see where bottlenecks are, but we don't want to have to count. So let's actually add in a calculation for a status and then one more for sales rep. And there we see, let's actually remove that because that was a mistake. But yeah, there we go. Now we can easily see how many jobs we have in each status and how many jobs each sales rep is in charge of in that status. But this is a lot of information. We have 170 jobs here. So let's actually add a filter to change some of to kind of narrow this down. So let's first add in a date status change. We're going to look at any jobs older than 3 days, because if it's been updated in the last 3 days, that's a pretty good job. Now we're taking care of that job. So let's apply that. And then let's add in one more for is archived. We don't want to be looking at any archived jobs. So let's apply that. And we took it down from 170 to about 150. That's not bad. We took out about 20 of them. So there we go. That's a pretty useful report. Let's name it to My Stuck Jobs and save it.
All right, that report is very useful and it looks really good. The one place this isn't useful, if you're using proper data management, you might be moving things to a lost status instead of leaving these things here for 970 days. Once again, that's a dead lead. We're not working with that. We may as well send it to lost and clear up our boards. So you might be wondering, how can we see where something moved into lost from? Well, that's where we can use an activity report. An activity report's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different data in JobNimbus, but the important thing is anything that the system records as an action is saved as an activity. We have a really cool filter we can use called parent workflow. This allows us to choose a type, we're using jobs in our case, and a status, The one we're looking for is lost jobs. So we're going to look for any activity that moved a job from any status to lost. If we apply that, we get about 14 records. Well, with that, let's change our records per page to at least 25. And let's take out some of the data that we don't need. So we're going to remove a column for status changed because, of course, the status has changed. And we're going to remove the type column. We're going to add back in a column for date created. This will be the date that they were moved to lost, which could be very useful. Last, let's group by note. This is going to tell us exactly where they moved from. Adjuster meeting to lost 2, pending review to lost 1. I don't want to do all this counting. Let's add in a calculation. Perfect. And we'll see that our big place is send to pending has become lost 9 times. So we'll call this moved to lost, and we'll save this report. Now, these are 2 different reports that allow you to get some insight into where you've got bottlenecks in your situation, where exactly leads are failing to become paying customers. Next week, we'll go in and we'll teach you some ways that JobNimbus can give you greater visibility and even help deal with these bottlenecks.